What up? What up? What up? What up, Miss T? What's going on?
Truck tires humming, gravel spitting the sound. Moonshine dreams trying to leave this town. Boots caked in mud, still I'm chasing the road. Hillbilly highway, heavy with the load. Hillbilly highway, taking me away. Appalachian whispers begging me to stay. Mountains in the mirror, but I'm breaking free. Hillbilly highway, don't set my soul free. Cold dust lungs, daddy's grinding my veins. Rusty old Chevy pushing past the pain. Cornfields wave goodbye, they know the truth. Hillbilly highway, gotta find my youth. Creaking porches, bad drums in my chest. Grandma's quilt folded memories at rest. Leaves falling gold, but I can't be still. Hillbilly highway calls up into its wheel. Holler echoes fade, lanterns burning low. Chasing city lights where the big dreams grow. Past the smoky hills where the wind blows wide. Hillbilly highway, freedom is the ride. Hillbilly highway, taking me away. Appalachian whispers begging me to stay. Mountains in the mirror, but I'm breaking free. Hillbilly highway, don't set my soul to flee. Cold dust lungs, daddy's grinding my veins. Rusty old Chevy pushing past the pain. Cornfields wave goodbye, they know the truth. Hillbilly highway, gotta find my youth. Creaking porches, banjo strums in my chest. Grandma's quilt folded memories at rest. Leaves falling gold, but I can't be still. Hillbilly highway calls up into its wheel. Calls up into its wheel. Hillbilly highway gon' set my soul to flee.
Smoke thick like a ghost in the air. A whiskey burning throats, nobody care. Slim's tavern shook with a wild roar. Mr. Cricket's crew busting.
Going on? I muted this. What's going on? What up? What up? What up? What's up, man? What's going on? What's happening, Miss T? First in the house tonight. What the fuck that shit's been doing that? Suck up phone here. Fucking phone's interfering over here. So what's up? What's going down? Fuck, man. Hold on. I'll be back. Hold on. I was trying to see if I can figure out what the goddamn interference was coming in. Yeah, I know it's hot today, even hotter tomorrow. Yeah, I came home and got out, tried to do a little bit more weed eating for a little while. I ran out of stream. Went outside about 7:15. Walked around for about 45 minutes. And came on back inside. My son got out there today earlier and was doing some stuff. He said it was just too damn hot. I don't blame him. So, anyway, if anybody sees a couple folks show up here, if y'all see, I put Hillbilly Highway. It's a little story about escaping the Appalachian Mountains. A little history about some shit that went on back in the day in the mountains of Kentucky, North Carolina, Tennessee. The Appalachians. Grandfather Mountain and all that shit's Appalachians now. Some interesting stuff. It's not a long little, not really an article, documentary, I guess you would kind of call it. Ain't my documentary, but I'm gonna borrow somebody's. I'm gonna borrow somebody's if they don't mind. Fair use situation. But yeah, it's nice and cool now where I'm sitting at now in the house. Made some salmon patties, salmon cakes this evening. I don't know if anybody likes salmon like that out of the can. Made up into some patties and then fried. Pretty good stuff. Yep. So that's about it. Oh yeah. A little fucking gnat. Hold on, I'm trying to get. Oh, I got his little bitty gnat buzzing around, aggravating the piss out of me. In the color, well, can't really see no color once you scoop. Now I don't really eat. I don't like salmon too much, so much like a big piece of salmon. I don't know, but I've ate many a salmon cake, salmon patty, as we call them. Comes in the can, double Q, funny shaped can. With that, I mix some flour and some baking powder, a couple of eggs, and some chopped up green onion. Then fry them in some oil. And I like to eat mine with a little bit of ketchup on top of them. But salmon, like salmon steak or a big piece of salmon fish, I don't like that. I don't really like that so much. I'd rather have some catfish or some kind of white fish. I got a bag of fish in the freezer. I usually eat those. I buy that bag of tilapia that's got the individual wrapped pieces of fish in the bag. They thaw out real quick. That's what I usually eat if I'm going to have just regular fish. What up, what up, what up? Anybody wants to come in here, we'll look at this little documentary a little bit about the Hillbilly Highway. Everybody leaving the mountains. I didn't realize. I watched a little bit of it. I didn't realize how many people left. Yeah, I like those. Those are some fillets. get out how many I want. I keep them in the freezer. I just put them in some water and they'll thaw out in just, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 minutes. They'll be ready to go. Then I put some seafood breader and fry them up in some oil. Good stuff. Make a little bit of rice, some coleslaw maybe. My hush puppy making skills ain't too good, so there's that.
Mrs. T sipping tea, but it's spiked with gin. She winks at the jukebox and gives it a spin.
How I missed that part last night where it says Mrs. T takes a drink and it's spiked with gin. Hold on, run that back.
Mr. Cricket strutting with a hop and a slide. Slim's tap. Mr. Cricket struts him with a hop and a slide. Slims. The heavens buzzing like a Friday night vibe. Curved by you, babe, Mr. Solitaire too. The gang's all here. Let the mischief ensue. Oh, the cricket crew's got tales to share, with laughter and chaos floating in the air. Bobo's cracking jokes, Janie's got the groove. The God's barking orders like he's got something to prove. Mrs. T sipping tea, but it's spiked with gin. She winks at the jukebox and gives it a spin. Bobo's got a dance that's all the rage. While Janie's on the table, she's stealing the stage. Oh, the cricket crew's got tales to share, with laughter and chaos.
Yeah, it said Mrs. T's drinking sweet tea, but it's spiked with gin. Oh, why'd they have to pick gin? I don't like gin. Couldn't spike it with anything other than gin.
Floating in the air. Bobo's cracking jokes, Janie's got the groove. The God's barking orders like he's got something to prove. Mrs. T sipping tea, but it's spiked with gin. She winks at the jukebox and gives it a spin. Bobo's got a dance that's all the rage. While Janie's on the table, she's stealing the stage. Oh, the cricket crew's got tales to share, with laughter and chaos floating in the air. Bobo's cracking jokes, Janie's got the groove. The God's barking orders like he's got something to prove. Heard by you, babe, says let's start a song. Mrs. Solitaire shouts, make it loud and strong. Mr. Cricket grabs a mic, his voice hits the roof. The crew's out of sync, but the vibe's the proof.
That's about to
Big dog's got a pool cue twirling like a sword. Janie's painting pictures on the tavern board. Bobo's doing magic cards in his hand. Mrs. T's predicting futures like she's got it planned.
Well, I want to see what we can do here. So I was going to play a little bit of this. If anybody hop in here, this Hillbilly Highway, the road out of the Appalachian. Kind of a little interesting. It's about 20 minutes long, 20 minutes. Stop it here and there, but who we got up in here? What up? Da, 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 da. Says we got 5 people watching. That way or the other way? Let's see what we got. Let's see which one looks better. It's small that way, but you can hear it. Is it this one here? I do not own the rights to this video, so who's ever made it, appreciate you. No money will be collected in this live. All monetization is turned off, as it has been. We'll maybe roll around. Somebody sees something's on the screen. I know we're watching something. I don't know, we're watching something, right? I'll just watch it here in a minute. Okay. Let's start coming up with some new AIs. I'm getting Cricket's Tavern and Cricket this and Cricket that. Here, Cricket there, Cricket everywhere, Cricket, Crick. Do the Hillbilly Highway for this show.
Truck tires humming, gravel spitting the sound. Moonshine dreams trying to leave this town. Boots caked in mud, still I'm chasing the road. Hillbilly Highway, heavy with the load. Hillbilly Highway, taking me away. Appalachian whispers begging me to stay. Mountains in the mirror, but I'm breaking free. Hillbilly Highway, gon' set my soul to flee. Cold dust lungs, daddy's grinding my veins. Rusty old Chevy pushing past the pain. Cornfields wave goodbye, they know the truth. Hillbilly Highway, gotta find my youth. Creaking porches, banjo strums in my chest. Grandma's quilt folding memories at rest. Leaves fall and go, but I can't be still. Hillbilly Highway calls up into its wheel. Holler echoes fade, lanterns burning low. Chasing city lights where the big dreams grow. Past the smoky hills where the wind blows wide. Hillbilly Highway, freedom is the ride. Hillbilly Highway, taking me away. Appalachian whispers begging me to stay. Mountains in the mirror, but I'm breaking free. Hillbilly Highway, gon' set my soul to flee. Cold dust lungs, daddy's grinding my veins. Rusty old Chevy pushing past the pain. Cornfields wave goodbye, they know the truth. Hillbilly Highway, gotta find my youth. Creaking porches, banjo strums in my chest. Grandma's quilt folding memories at rest. Leaves fall and go, but I can't be still. Hillbilly Highway calls up into its wheel. Calls up into its wheel. Hillbilly Highway, gon' set my soul to flee.
Yeehaw. There you go. Okay, so watch it.
During the early 1900s, over 9 million people left the hills and hollers of Appalachia in search of opportunity and a better life, bound for the booming factory towns and cities of the industrial Midwest. Indeed, it was one of the largest migrations in American history, as 9 million people left their farms in search of paying jobs. Yet, their story has rarely been told, and chances are life bound for the booming factory towns, million people.
Damn 9 million people. Biggest migration in history, they're telling me. But anyway. What else? What up? Nobody. If it wasn't watch, I ain't gonna sit here and watch it. If ain't nobody here. Fuck it. Yeah, I ain't gonna worry with it. Ain't nobody here to pay attention or say anything about it. I ain't gonna watch it. So it's all good. Watch from the bushes. Get a little music. A little music to listen to. I'm back. I'm back. What's going on? Nothing still. What did I miss? Not like I missed anything. But I don't miss a thing. Da. Guess I'll play this shit here in a minute, regardless. What up, what up, what up? Alright, what's up? Nothing? What's going on? Yeah, shit. Tuesday.
Neon doors and doors swing wide. Took the Tuesday, step inside. Watch those Creek and stories flow, where the good times always go. Raise your glass to the neon glow. Slim Seven where the laughter shows. 2-4 Tuesday, the night's alive. Classic rock, heartbeat, we thrive. Before the no one cares. Voices shouting jokes and dares. Whiskey whispers, beer in hand. This is our promised land. Raise your glass to the neon glow. Slim Seven where the laughter shows. 2-4 Tuesday, the night's alive. Classic rock, heartbeat, we thrive. Lazy lost, but no one.
What up, Gina? Oh shit, same here. Same. Yeah, hot, even hotter tomorrow. Trying to watch this, was gonna watch this, but if anybody gets in here, it's the Hillbilly Highway. It's the road out of Appalachians So like 900 people left the mountains during that time, like the biggest migration here ever. Hillbilly Highway, the road out of Appalachian, switched to Appalachian Mountains, or uh, North Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky. But the 1900s, I started a little bit. I'll tell you, I think 1900s. I'll start a little bit, see if anybody's coming in.
During the early 1900s,
Early
over 9 million people left the hills and hollers of Appalachia in search of opportunity and a better life, bound for the booming factory towns and cities of the industrial Midwest. Indeed, it was one of the largest migrations in American history, as 9 million people left their farms in search of paying jobs. Yet, their story has rarely been told, and chances are that many of you who are watching this from all across America right now, and although you live in places like Michigan and Illinois or even California, you have a connection to Appalachia. Perhaps your grandfather once lived there and you're reconnecting with your roots. Or maybe you're still on the old homestead in West Virginia or North Carolina, holding tightly to the roots that your great grandfather planted. Yet you're one of the last of your family that remains. So why did they leave? What caused millions to leave their beloved land for the unknown? Well, my friend, I'm glad you asked. And that's what this story is all about.
Wait, I thought female was for.
It's a pretty interesting story. I was seeing if we get some people to if we can get some so if a couple of people jump in, I'll play some of it. It's not very long. It's 19 minutes, 18 minutes. It's pretty right there. Look at that. I do not own the rights to this video. I hope he doesn't mind me showing it. There is no money to be had. What's up, Bobo? There's Bobo. It's about all I expected. Oh, there you go. We're sitting here checking out this. I'll watch some of it tonight. It's all good, Gina. People come in. It's 8 people in watching. We watch a little bit about these people. Well, not these people, but uh, in the early 1900s, he's about to tell a story why all these people left the Appalachian Mountains. I watched some of it. Some of them had headed up north, Chicago, New York, and different places for jobs.
There are few places more beautiful than the Appalachian Mountains. And for nearly 250 years, some of the most hardy men and women in America called this home. The log cabins, split rail fences, and grist mills built by these Scots Irish, English, and Germans during the and 1800s are now some of the most iconic and revered structures in America. For centuries, these people lived in the coves, the hollers, and the fertile mountain valleys, living off of nature's rich bounty. Wildflowers filled their yards as grapevines ran down the eaves of their porch, and smoke rose from their hand built stone chimney. It was a place of serene beauty, inhabited by rugged men and women who were just as tough as nails. Had made the long journey to America, having fled persecution and countless wars on the other side of the world. They left behind the heavy taxes imposed by kings on everything from their land to their liquor. Yet they brought with them their culture and their beliefs, and they believed that the freedom to bear arms and sell whiskey were part of every man's birthright.
You hear that? Should be every man's birthright. Bear arms and make whiskey. A good bottle of liquor store and keep it in the freezer. Yeah, I don't know what that type of drink is. No, I never had it. I've never heard of it.
Appalachia was their home, a roadless wilderness of crags and coves. The valleys were filled with churches and schools, and as their sons and daughters grew into adulthood, they built their new homes further up the creeks, but close to their family, for no good mountain man would let his family be scattered. Communities of kinfolks sprang up, and as the years went by and each new generation succeeded the previous, little cabins climbed further and further up the creek where the soil was shallow and the bare bone of the mountain shone through. And there were only a precious few steep, sloping acres to farm that were walled in by a forest of chestnuts and oaks, so tall that even the midday sun could barely wipe away the shadows. So you see, each new generation found life a little harder than the last. The few roads that existed, now they were little more than used only by the folks who lived there, yet lived in splendid isolation within these rocky hollers.
I mean, we get
I've got a cold snack. Speaking of all this drinking, probably these in the freezer all the time. It won't freeze, right? Liquor. Yeah, that's what we usually keep. If I had a bottle of liquor, that's where it'd be in the freezer. But I don't have a bottle of liquor. But I do got some cold snacks. All the same. Yeah, it's kind of, you'll get to why they start getting the hell out of Dodge.
It was a rich land that gave them hillside family farms, cemeteries for their kin, and wood for their fiddles and dulcimers, and a sense of freedom that was quickly disappearing all throughout the flatland country beyond those mountains. Now, despite their isolation, the small communities grew. Men worked the farms and blacksmith shops, while women worked nearly everything. One woman once said, Men folk just want a woman that never sits down. They want one that'll work in the cornfield without getting tired and be so rested when the day is done that she'll make all the meals and tend to all the children and do all the chores while he eats and have a whole basket of young'uns in her spare time. But these women love their hard-working men because I tell you, no mountain woman wanted a hen husband. Yes, sir. They were proud of their land. Up here is the only place to be, they would say, as they looked down with scorn at the bottom land. For down there the grass grew so thick that you couldn't even bust it with a hoe. Besides, the mountains provided everything you needed. A young man and his woman could start their life here with little more than a skillet and a hoe. And they would make their home where the trees were giant and the sounds of the birds washed away all other sounds. Little more than a clear, cold mountain stream. They would start their lives by
All the in the Appalachian Mountains, Bubba, which run. I don't know if they run all the way up that far up beyond, but yeah, the Appalachian Mountains, North Carolina Mountains, Tennessee, Kentucky. The early 1900s, they said 9 million of them migrated out of there. They're getting ready to start getting the hell out of Dodge here soon, but yeah, 9 million, the biggest migration ever. It's like 900 people ended up migrating away from here, and you're about to see why.
planting some corn in soil that was so loose you didn't even have to plow it. Now, corn had many uses. It could be ground up for meal, used as a vegetable, or just as important, bottled up as moonshine. They grew oats, soybeans, and millet. They even grew grasses such as timothy, redtop, and orchard. They grew cane to make sorghum molasses, and their vegetable gardens consisted of onions, Irish potatoes, peppers and turnips and peas and tomatoes, cabbages and strawberries. They planted apple, peach, and plum trees, while the forest provided a never-ending bounty of black walnuts, hickory nuts, blackberries, huckleberries, and wild strawberries. Deer and wild turkey and rabbits and squirrels were abundant.
Imagine the
I think some kind of something.
Yet, the most important aspect of pioneer living in Appalachia was the chestnut tree, with its straight, rot-resistant wood that was used in all their buildings, and more importantly, were the chestnuts that rained down from the canopies every fall. Every Appalachian, as well as every animal in the forest, depended on this tree for its bounty, equipped with everything they needed to be self-sufficient. Appalachia and its people thrived for generations, building an authentic culture, a set of core values, and work ethic, all while coexisting side by side with nature. So what happened? Hey guys, JD here.
Forget what it says. I'll say it in a minute, but something, believe it or not, came from China. I don't think China did it deliberately. It's some kind of
The war between the states brought change all across America, and Appalachia was no different. For the first time, northern industrialists made their way into this remote region, and when the war ended, they quickly began buying up enormous tracts of land and exploiting it of all its timber and its coal. For the first time, industry had invaded these mountains. Rich men north of Richmond began laying railroad tracks alongside mountain creeks, building towering bridges across ravines, and dynamiting tunnels through mountains, creating a syringe that would allow industrialists to slowly extract the lifeblood of coal and timber out of Appalachia to build the rest of America. Like it or not, the outside world had come to this mountain utopia for the first time. News from the outside world freely circulated. The railroad brought a steady stream of foreigners who were willing to sell their souls, digging in the pitch black dungeons of the earth like moles, all for the chance to earn a dollar. Suddenly, the sounds of the wind rustling through the trees, along with the white noise of a mountain stream, were replaced with the sounds of trees crashing to the ground and the sound of lamp whistles, while the sounds of the birds and the animals were quieted by the nonstop sounds of locomotives carrying out hundreds of tons of coal every day. These new coal and lumber camps offered opportunity for any Appalachian man who was willing to leave his farm and move his family into the cookie cutter coal shacks and work for company script, which he could use to buy all sorts of shiny store bought stuff that he had never seen before. Heck, he could buy his wife her first store bought dress and his children their first store bought shoes, but at what cost? You see, once a man went to work for these companies, he soon found himself in debt to them for the items that he purchased on credit, thereby creating a vicious cycle of back-breaking labor and more debt. The companies, on the other hand, made a fortune, and some of the wealthiest families in the world today can track their accumulated wealth back to the exploitation of Appalachia's riches. Indeed, many folks viewed it as a tragedy each time a man from the community would leave his pioneer lifestyle behind and trade it in for selling what little time he had been blessed with on this earth for one of these new jobs down at the camps. Yet, Appalachia had always been a community that helped each other out. Each person had a role in these communities, whether he was a blacksmith, a farmer, a miller, a hunter-gatherer, or anything else. And each time a man left, the entire community suffered until nearly every man across the mountains went to work for these companies. The first decade of the 1900s brought with it World War I, and this brought massive changes in America's biggest cities, who were for the first time cut off from their cheap labor of migrant European countries. It was essential to keeping their factories going. Looking you paying low wages, these companies took a page out of the coal and timber industry's playbook and actively began recruiting Appalachian men to work in these northern factories.
Transform trillions of signals into relevant reach.
Interesting stuff, I think.
Pet Libro, designed better for your lives together.
It's about done for as far as I got here.
This was the first wave of men to leave Appalachia, yet it went unnoticed by most of America, who were instead focused on the northern migration of blacks from Mississippi and Alabama. During the Great Depression, most folks in Appalachia didn't notice when it started or when it ended, since for the most part, they were still isolated from the rest of America. Aside from the railroad and a few state highways, there were few roads that cut into the heart of the region. And by now, the chestnut tree fungus that had accidentally been imported from China to New York City was spreading across Appalachia like wildfire, as the fungus killed every chestnut tree in Appalachia. This was devastating to the last families holding on to the pioneer lifestyle. Gone was the primary food source of all the animals of the forest, and 25% of all trees in Appalachia suddenly died, all 4 billion of them, never to return. On top of the unregulated logging industry, suddenly the mountains were stripped bare. The result was that every man who had resisted America's capitalism system was suddenly forced to work. Another major event that drove the families out was the government seizure of over 500,000 acres of property in Tennessee and North Carolina, creating the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Families had no choice but to leave and many of them had nowhere to go. Companies like Ford and General Motors quickly capitalized on this, and they actively recruited these hillbillies to work in their factories for even lower wages, since ownership considered them too uneducated to strike or form unions. A steady stream of migration of families along U.S. Highway 23 from Tennessee, North Carolina, Kentucky, and West Virginia headed north bound for the factories of the Rust Belt. Meanwhile, men from Kentucky went to work in factories in Cincinnati and Dayton, Ohio. Yet, once again, this massive migration from Appalachia wasn't even noticed due to the great droughts and the massive migration of the Dust Bowl in the American Midwest. World War II saw men from Appalachia board warships where they returned across the same ocean that their ancestors had traveled across generations before. Back home, the demand for Appalachia's coal had never been higher, and the men had fought long and hard for increased wages and safety regulations. Coal was the absolute king of the economy, and every mill living here knew that his sons would have the assurance of working as a miner as soon as they were old enough. However, the conclusion of the war resulted in a drastic reduction in the demand of coal. And furthermore, many of the men returned home to Appalachia. Additionally, machinery began to replace jobs in the coal mines, and that post war prosperity that was experienced all across America was noticeably absent from Appalachia as unemployment and poverty began to rise. The 1950s brought Interstate 75 and 81, which were the first superhighways to cut right through the heart of Appalachia. And for the next 20 years, the floodgates of families leaving the mountains were unstoppable. This new cruel, who the hell cares economics brutalized the Appalachian coal fields and set off the second great migration out of the mountains, headed north for factory jobs in Chicago, Detroit, and Cleveland. Every weekend, pickup trucks crammed with mattresses, lampshades, and children could be seen winding out of the hollers and onto the wide asphalt interstate as family upon family was split apart as one of America's oldest and misunderstood cultures began to crumble. Thousands of houses began to be torn down, and many that remained sit abandoned among weeds and by the 1980s, Polish Indians just closed left in communities to die. Suddenly, all the mining machinery was gone. All the concrete buildings were broken.
Can you believe these aren't
That's about
Dated aluminum peeling away where crows were now perched on top of the exposed steel girder bones. The few companies that remained adopted modern machinery that resulted in over 50% of the miners losing their jobs. These new longwall mining machines could each replace 6 men and produce twice as much coal. Unemployment was now 25% in West Virginia and Kentucky. Yet, many of the factory jobs in the North began appearing as the large companies, always looking for cheaper labor, began migrating to China and Mexico. So now, folks in Appalachia began migrating south to the textile mills and the furniture making factories. In West Virginia alone, the entire state lost 10% of its population during the 1980s. All told, Appalachia's once virgin forests were decimated by the coal and timber companies. And during the years from 1910 to 1980, over 9 million people who had called these mountains home were forced to leave by the poverty that was left behind when these companies pulled out. The heartbreak of leaving seems unbearable. Almost nowhere else in America do people feel so interwoven with their culture and their land, from family graveyards to rounded mountains casting shadows across forests thick with poplars and sycamores and white oaks. One man, every time I walk my place, I see my grandpa and my grandma as they were when they were children. I see my whole family here. Everywhere I walk, I'm walking in their footsteps. It's going to be hard to leave because Appalachia is heaven, but there aren't any jobs.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty. Hold on, up here. This here. Yeah, pretty interesting, Bubba. How all that went down, how much you heard, but especially the chestnut trees. I didn't realize that accidentally got imported from China, spread from New York, and killed every. Just, I thought I've heard that before. There's no chestnut trees, but like killed every chestnut tree there was. Billions. It's crazy. Yeah, so it was from 1910 to 1989. 9 million people. Wow.
Working in